Hello, aviators. Well, it used to be a Logo 200. I'd like to welcome you back to another installment of After the Impact. This isn't just a Logo 200 anymore. It's a full-blown helicopter hybrid, Logo 200 frame, GooSky S2 tail, and a SpeedyBee F405 mini stack running Rotorflight. Let's consider it a parts bin experiment, all stitched together and purpose-built for a battle with the laws of physics and gravity. Today, we're going to be repairing the damage, we're going to dial it back in, and we're going to find out if this Frankenstein machine still has some fight left in it. All right, let's go to work. All right, aviators. What you're looking at is a Logo 200 running a SpeedyBee F405 mini stack and Keith Williams's breakout board. That's what the servos are plugged into. If you're thinking about doing this modification to your model, I highly recommend that product. It was great, well designed, easy to use, and it shipped fast. Thanks, Keith. All right. The GooSky S2 tail, we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail here in just a few minutes. But what you're seeing me do, yes, I'm starting to break it down, but I'm also wiping down these old screws with rubbing alcohol and a rag. I'm just cleaning off the residue. And John Wesley said it best, especially regarding RC helicopters: cleanliness is next to godliness. Thanks, John. All right. GooSky S2 tail. Why would you want to upgrade this? Well, if you flew the original Logo 200, despite what they say in their press releases, that tail sucked. Not I don't necessarily think it was so much the motor. I think a lot of it had to do with just the Evo, not the Evo. Was it the Evo? No, it was the Neo. Yeah, just the Neo and it not having tally. I mean, just the smallest overspeed would overdrive that tail motor, and next thing you know, you are pirouetting out of control. World-class pilots could probably control it. Hell, they could probably see it coming before it did. But for us average mere mortals, it was kind of a real pain in the ass. So upgrading that tail definitely made it hold stronger. Converting everything over to Rotorflight, made it hold just fantastic. Okay, let me slow down here for a sec. These KNIPEX Precistrip 16s, these are a fantastic tool. If you want to spend a bunch of money on a tool that you only use for one application, this is where I would do it. Did you just watch that? I just stripped all three of those wires at one time. All done correctly, very precisely, and it worked well. I can't recommend that tool enough. There'll be an Amazon link in the description below. And yes, it's an affiliate link for the 8 of you, plus my mom, that watch this channel. So if you buy it, I'd appreciate it. I might get like 3 or 4 cents. So thank you. Now, you're watching me solder on these connectors. This is the standard connector that OMP uses for their models. This is kind of the only downside about swapping the OMP M2 or the Logo 200 tail motor over to the GooSky S2 tail motor. You're going to have to do this every time you swap a motor out. But I think it's worth it. The parts availability for the OMP are freaking terrible. There for a while, when the model first came out, it seemed like all the major vendors, and we're talking about AIM and Heli Direct, they were carrying these parts, and then they all just kind of stopped.
And with this being the only OMP model I had at the time, I got to thinking,
So I thought, well, let me swap this tail over, and if the performance is better, great, but at least I'll be able to get parts. I mean, I'm always driving this thing in and smashing up my tail or my booms or something. And so anyway, that's one of the major reasons why I did it. And I'm happy that I did. It's not in this video, I make it look like it's really, really hard to solder these connectors. In real life, it's not. But thanks for suffering through that and watching me fight it. Fighting it fair. Oh, yeah, using the old heat gun, suck those down. Now we're ready for the next step. We're gonna put this thing together. Nothing too exciting here. I do like to use Loctite on these. And just, that's one thing. The world's best Loctite and the world's worst bottle cap. I think everybody complains about this bottle cap, and yet they never fix it. You notice mine's got red tape on it. That's because I think that Loctite is allergic. No, I think the bottle cap is allergic to the Loctite because it becomes insanely fragile and it just cracks and splits into about 6 pieces unless you reinforce the cap. What a great product in an absolutely terrible container. So I highly recommend that SAB Loctite and just deal with the bottle however you do it. Everything comes together on the GooSky tail as expected. Just the 1.5 millimeter driver is going to get it done. That's that. Nothing too exciting here. Just don't over torque those bolts. You'll strip out that little bridge plate in between it. This is the one thing that I do like about this modification. It's probably the best thing about it. Just a single bolt with a nice red finish washer to top that off with. All right, main motor mount replacement time. Now, first thing we got to do is get rid of that head, and then we got to loosen up the bolts for the main shaft. I'm going to go ahead and clean those. And what bolts were those? Oh yeah, that was a set screws. Go ahead and jerk that main shaft out of there. Get rid of the locking collar. There's a little trick with the swash. I used the soldering iron to heat up that swash pin. It loosens up that Loctite, the heat does, and then make sure that, helps make sure that you don't break that bolt when you try and get it, or that screw when you try and get it out of there. Now what I'm doing here, taking off the fastener bolts for the main motor mount and just kind of freeing things up a little bit. You need a little bit of movement there to kind of worm that thing into position. You're also going to need a 2 millimeter driver. The old MIP drivers get her done without stripping screws. I appreciate that, especially with these smaller screws. Now, there it is, all smashed and broken. There's the new one, nice and straight. Now it just kind of goes in there. Just wedge that thing in there, fit it in there. Nothing too fancy here. Put the screws back. It really doesn't matter where you start from or where you end from, as long as they all make it back. It's the most important thing. So, and again, don't over tighten your screws, just snug them up. Some of those screws are just going into plastic. It's pretty easy to strip. Now, when it comes to the motors, I'm gonna ramble on here a little bit. I tried the Evo motor when they came out with the M2 Evo, and I just really didn't like it. I felt like it was kind of underpowered. I know they were really proud of it, and maybe there was something there that I was supposed to appreciate that I really didn't, or maybe I needed to have it in the brand new model with the new Flybarless system. Anyway, I found that the old motor actually produces more power. Could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below if that's not the case, if that's not your experience. All right, tail boom slides right into the frame just like it should. No problem. Now I just kind of connect the wires and hope for the best. If it runs backwards, I'll flip 2 of the 3, and that usually fixes the problem. All right. Now I'm kind of messing with the servos, monkeying around with them, getting them in the frame. Now I got to talk about these things. Whoever designed, whatever Chinese designer put these things together, they are amazing. I bought this model used. I don't know how many flights that guy had on it. I've put well over 1,500 flights, maybe more, on the model since I've had it. It's the original set of servos. I don't know how many crashes they've gone through. They are amazing. So whoever you are out there who designed and blessed these things, thank you. Thanks for putting out good quality products. Main shaft replacement, piece of cake. Slide it in. If your frames are reasonably square, it'll just kind of slide all the way into the bottom, and just go ahead and push it down and start threading in the screws. Now, I do use that main shaft set screw just to kind of hold things in place as I tighten down the bottom main screw, and that seems to work pretty good. And the set collar for the motor, I do like to kind of pull up on the main shaft and then set that screw. Yeah, I'm just staring at the model, checking it out. God, we've had some adventures, haven't we, buddy? All right, more to come. Now, rotor head repairs, we're coming down to the end of it. Right now, I'm just kind of looking at the servo arms. If there's one thing about these models, it's retweaking and tweaking these servo arms after a crash. I don't have an unlimited budget. I end up kind of recycling parts, and that is one of them. But don't worry, I'll fix it during the Rotorflight setup. Now, the next thing that you got to do is we got to get that spindle out of the head. And what happened there? Oh. No, I shouldn't be turning it that much. Oh, shit.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Yeah.
He fucked up.
Damn it. That, my friends, is what we call a stripped freaking bolt. And it's tiny, it's small, and it's in a spot where I can't freaking get to it. So I end up trying everything, literally everything. This is where you take the toolbox and you just chuck it at the model, and you start trying every combination of different hex drivers and screwdrivers and pliers to see what will grab the end of that bolt. And if all that fails, you break out the Dremel. And it's at this point, you are committed. It is go time.
That's my credo. No regrets.
You have no regrets?
No way. Not me.
All right, let's do this. I'm dremeling a slot into that head. And then the hope is that you do it in such a way that you can fit a flathead screwdriver in there to get it out. Works pretty well. Tight, confined quarters. Sometimes you can end up massacring some parts to get it done. And in this case, let's see here. Ah, shit. There it is. That's the wrong tool. You take your flathead screwdriver, place it in the slot, and then back up the other side and twist. Did I do it? No, I did not. Darn it. Oh, wait a minute. I got a phone call. Hello. Hey, Les. Yeah. I know. It's kicking my ass. You want to talk to the bolt? Okay. All right, I'll let you handle it. Thanks. Bye.
Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm going to have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly firestorm upon you. You're going to have to call the nations and get binding resolution to keep me from destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, mother. I will massacre you. I will up.
Well, After that motivational little pep talk, did it work? Oh, yes, it did. We are back in business. All right, finally, we are moving on. We're going to service the head, just break it all apart. I like to just kind of stack on one side all the different bearings, spacers, and as they come apart. I don't know why I'm trying to save this screw. It did cause me a bunch of problems. It's probably stripped, and I'm probably just going to throw it away anyway, but for some reason, just can't help myself. All right. Now, I do try and wipe out as much of the old grease as I can. I don't always, when I crash this model and replace the feathering shaft, I don't always re-grease everything, because sometimes there's only a couple of flights in between. But in this case, we're going to start over. So Tri-Flow, I bought that bottle about, 7 years ago, and I'm still using it. There might be a better grease out there, but that one's pretty good. And just kind of work it into the thrust bearings and into the, into the dampeners, and push it all back into the head block. Okay, so here, if you get one of the screws on the spindle started and pretty well in all the way, you can kind of use it to stack all the little parts on, and then push the head back together, and then get the other spindle bolt on the other side. Just take a double check in there, make sure there's not gobs of grease in the threads. On these little helicopters, I don't go crazy trying to make sure that all the grease is out of that thread assembly. I don't know. I just never really had problems with the spindle bolts backing out. Okay, putting the anti-rotation pin back in. Now just use just a touch of Loctite on that pin, because it can get stuck and it will break off inside that swash if you're not careful when you back it out the next time. Putting it all back together and just kind of double checking, tightening things down. We're getting closer and closer. All right, now it's going to be time to, let's replace those skids. Now, the story on those skids, I've always found it really hard to tell the bottom side of the helicopter. And so just before they came out with their plastic skids, which has taken me months to get my hands on my own pair, I spray painted mine with just Krylon. And it worked for the intended purpose, but aesthetically, it's a look only a mother would love. And so I'm happy to finally be able to get rid of those and replace them with a factory set of white skids. So that's awesome. Getting everything bolted back down. And new blades. Little trick here. When you're stacking those shims on the blades, I like to use the 1.5 millimeter driver to get everything lined up, and then go ahead and stab the bolt once the blade and shims are lined up in the grip. Okay, looking good. Setting the tension. You do want a little bit of flop in those blades for the lead and lag. And little final zip tie, and we are almost ready to go. Okay, new canopy time. OMP does a great job with these canopies. Good quality, great finishes, and most importantly, they're really lightweight, which does directly affect the flight performance of these little models quite a bit. Oh yeah, buddy, looking good. But like all beautiful things, I must destroy it. All right, we'll see you guys at the flying field.
Did you get that? Jesus. Motor off.
Oh, darn it.
Model is armed. Throttle idle. Motor start. Bank 2. Bank 1.
All right, aviators, we did it. We repaired the model, we flew it, and I crashed it a bunch of times. It was a ton of fun. I hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you've got a FrSky Twin X Slide S transmitter and are wondering, how do I adjust those gimbals to get that perfect stick feel that you've been looking for? I want you to watch this video right here. It's going to walk you through the process step by step. Thanks for watching Overspeed RC. I'm Shane, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the flying field.